Thursday, and that means that we are once again blessed by the presence of your LSU head baseball coach, Coach Jay Johnson. Join us to break down the big weekend upcoming in the box. Going to be electric. Coach, what's going on, man? How we doing here on this Thursday?
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing really well. We're gonna look back. We're gonna look forward. We're gonna do everything. But first, what's the hype level out right now? Does it have a little bit of a feeling of kind of the calm before the storm, right? High leverage, Hogs coming in hot, coming into the box. Two of the best teams in the entire country. How are the boys feeling here on this Thursday?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm happy to see the sun is up this morning.
Yeah,
That's
true.
the first thing.
True.
So, looking forward to getting on the field today. We're also in the middle of finals, so they're wrapping that up.
Nice.
We gave them a little extra time off with the Tuesday night game getting rained out. Had a really good, productive day yesterday. Excited for the prep today. Been knee-deep into Arkansas from a coaching staff perspective, and they're ready to roll. Our home crowd has done a great job this year with rain and weird start times and all that, and we're going to need all of it this weekend. So looking forward to a great weekend.
And, Coach, speaking of great weekends, the performance by Anthony Einson last weekend. And it stinks, right, because when Cade had his unreal complete game, it was on a Thursday, and so it got to be the sole focused. Unfortunately, Anthony coming out kind of in the middle of the weekend there, maybe didn't get we tried to give him as much love as we could. So I want to revisit it here because, again, what a masterful job of high leverage pitching where your team has to have it, and he puts him on his back and he gets it done. A very efficient, complete game, 1 run, 3 hits. And you look up, and Einson is just someone, Coach, that is like just continued to get better as the season has gone on. It seems like every weekend he gets better. What's been the kind of key behind that growth that you're seeing out of him?
Well, the first part's the person. He's a phenomenal human being, phenomenal competitor. And then I give him a lot of credit. He's getting better as we're going in the season. He gets better as games go along. You mentioned we had some really efficient innings in the middle of the game, which allowed him to extend. And, probably right around after Texas, we made a couple adjustments with him. Give Coach Yeski, Jamie Tutko a lot of credit for that. And he's just gone out and executed it. And super proud of him for that. He's one of those guys, man. And unless you're in the trenches of knowing what this thing really is, which that's nobody outside of the staff.
Yeah.
As you're going through recruiting in this new era in the portal, it's like, all right, this is the guy we have to get. Like, this is going to tip the season to where you're talking about this Arkansas series and what's ahead of us, being high leverage and exciting. And, for him to visit the schools that he did, pick LSU and our program, and then go out and deliver the way that he has been awesome. And I'm super proud of him.
Coach, one thing I wanted to ask you about, because this series obviously is a big one, just like, they all are certainly in the SEC, but, we're football guys. And so when you have a big game, it's like, okay, you get up there, you give the pregame speech before the game, because that's what it is. It's one single game. It's not a series. So for you, like, having this big series, having 3 games, like, how do you approach, like, maybe tomorrow when you're getting out there? Like, is it a different approach? Do you do the same thing kind of 3 times to get them fired up, ready to go? Like, how do you handle maybe, what I'm saying, that one speech, that one talk that we all see in locker rooms?
Yeah, that's a good question. And put a lot of time and effort and energy into that to try to, meet the team where they are and what we have ahead of us. And, it could be one theme, for the weekend that you kind of segue off of, or it could be something different every day. I will tell you, it's probably a little more challenging in a 56-game schedule than it is an 11 or 12-game football schedule.
Yep.
But I do my best with that, and we've had some fun with that this year. And usually the guys have responded in a really good fashion. Really what it will come down to once the game starts is execution, and we're playing a good team. They make it hard on you to execute, so our guys got to stay in the right frame of mind and compete against a really good pitching staff and a really good lineup. But, I admire the consistency of how these guys have gone about their work, prepare for games, and competed. And we have a lot of really good baseball ahead of us because of that. And this weekend is certainly one of those.
And, in this conference, especially, Coach, what goes around kind of comes around, right? And here you have the miraculous Tennessee moment, and then it's immediately followed with A&M having a bit of their own miraculous sort of moment. When you're on the wrong side of that exchange, what's the toughest part of flushing that?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the guys flushing it. Like, first off, it happened 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys remember being 19, 20, 21. The good thing about young people is they actually move on pretty quickly.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sticks with Coach Johnson a little bit longer. But, no, I think, when you go through this, like, to put it in context, like, for 30 league games, like 18 of those, while we have played them, have been teams that have been ranked 12 or better in the RPI at the time that we've played them.
Insane.
We're playing, I think, our third or fourth team that has been ranked number one in the country this year in our league schedule. And therefore, you can't get caught up in the past. You can't get caught up too far down the road. I know it's super boring. You guys think I'm a California hippie or something, but to stay in the moment, execute your plan type of thing is the only way to do it. And we got some things we got to get better at right now. So, I mean, yesterday it was like grind day in the best way possible.
Yeah.
2 or 3 guys at a time, recommitting to approach, and getting some swings back on track so that we can, play the team we need to play them. And it was a good day, but that's how we have to choose to go about it. I think the good news is if you can kind of survive, and I hate using that word, but if you can kind of survive this stretch, we'll head into postseason baseball with nothing we have not seen. And You're probably just relining up the teams you went through to get where you ultimately, and we ultimately want to go, which is Omaha and win a national championship.
Coach, every SEC team brings their own challenges, and, you really don't ever get a chance to breathe in the SEC. That is what it is. What about this Arkansas team, though? And I know you've been breaking down film, watching film all week long, probably Sunday of last week. And so when you watch them on tape, when you see the way that they play, see kind of some of the series they've played over the last couple of weeks, what can LSU fans expect in the box?
Yeah, they're probably the most complete team of all these teams in terms of offense, defense, pitching. They've always tended to play defense really well. They've always tended to pitch really well. And that's definitely the case this time. Just like I talked about with Anthony, their pitcher tomorrow, Zach Root, that was kind of the guy they had to get, to have this rotation as formidable as it is and push some really good high-end arms to the bullpen. So the pitching is good, the defense is good, and they hammer mistakes. I mean, whether it's fastball or hanging breaking ball, they hammer them. And again, I'm going off of most of my review was off of last weekend against Texas. But they've been through a couple weekends like we've been through, where they've lost a couple, and but they're playing well. I mean, I think they're probably the favorite to win the national championship right now in terms of the completeness of their team. I love that we're at home, and really excited for the weekend. Like, this is college baseball this weekend. I think maybe because they haven't won a national championship, people don't talk about them as much, but they've probably been the most consistent program in the SEC over the past 10 years. And so this is awesome, and we're really excited about this weekend.
I mean, I can already feel my adrenaline. It's like I can't imagine I can because I remember going through it, but it's challenging to try to kind of stay low and kind of save it for the right time. Speaking of the right time, though, Coach, we were talking about this earlier in the show. One of the hallmarks of your tenure here in Baton Rouge has been getting the team peaking at the right time. And there's a real art to that. And just now you talked about yesterday, grindy practice, recommitting to approach. When you have some guys that are maybe personally slumping a little bit, what do you do? What are the actions or strategies you engage in to try to get better and be playing your best baseball this late in the year when you've already played so much?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And sometimes I think I appreciate you saying that, and I'll certainly take credit for it, but it's like sometimes it's a little misleading, and it's a little misleading only because of the competition being so stiff week in and week out. Like, I don't think you can survive this nowadays without a few bumps. I
see.
mean, Texas was number one, had
Yeah.
lost one game in a month and got completely annihilated by Arkansas last weekend.
Yeah.
Like, they completely dominated them. And in our league in baseball, like, that's going to happen. But something I've always reverted to is my job is to keep our players right in the head. If I can do that, then it gives them a chance to play their best in these highest leverage situations. And, that's why, over my career, we've had really good success, I believe, in the postseason and, late in the season. Now, with that being said, it really all comes down to execution, and you can't execute unless you're in the right frame of mind. So for me, it's mindset. We work on it 365 days a year. And, there's some of that obviously going right now. And kind of what I look at is that's the same for everybody in the SEC. And unless you're doing this and, playing 3 teams in a row that have been ranked number 1 at some point during the season, you don't get it, and
Yeah.
so you have to stay right in the head. And we're looking forward. And to answer your question from earlier, in the locker room at A&M, it was like, hey, man, I'm proud of this effort today. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we busted our ass in that game.
Yep.
We didn't hit, but the pitchers did a great job. I thought the coaching staff did a great job in that game, and we were maneuvering and hustling and getting it to the point where we were about to win a series on the road against a team that's really talented that, we didn't even play our best, and that would have been a tremendous accomplishment. So it's like, hey, let's just pack up this bus. Let's get on the road, eyes up, take care of finals, and turn our focus to next week. And so it's really just trying to keep them all about what's right in front of them.
And tomorrow night, the Hogs right in front of them, 6:30 p.m. in the box, going to be electric all weekend long. If you're going to be one of those make it be loud, make it hard on Arkansas, and we look forward to another great series. Coach, thank you so much for making time with us. I know you're incredibly busy. Thank you for dealing with my last minute text to have you come on. You were the best. Coach, by the way, guess what? It's Jake's 40th birthday today.
Yeah.
Jacob, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, how about
I appreciate
it,
that, Coach. Yeah.
I have one question. Could you still get 100 yards on 20 carries in the NFL today?
Ooh. All right, Coach. The best I can give you, I can pick up a 4th and 1.
Yeah, that's it, baby. Definitely still got that.
Well, I believe you. Sometimes Stephen Milam will come up with this thing, and he'll say, hey, could I get 3 yards against Oklahoma? And I tell him no every time.
Hey, Monster, I love you too, bud, but no.
No, I don't know, dude. Maybe he kind of hides behind the line a little bit, squeaks through. I don't know, dude.
No, I don't know, Coach. I'm with
you. Coach, thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right, Coach Jay Johnson, legend.